with white supremacy.
Now, Brett, you brought up an interesting part when we were talking earlier today. How will this anti-protest legislation that says basically if there's a crowd in front of you, you can run them over, uh, going to square with people who have stand your ground rights in their guns? How
That's
does
right.
this work? I'm curious your thoughts on how you see the two maybe coming together.
Well, whenever you see this legislation, and this is almost universally true when they put out this legislation that is designed solely to play to their base.
Mhm.
Almost every time it has unintended consequences, things they haven't thought about. So now we have, I live in Ohio. We just passed stand your ground legislation. So now I can stand my ground anywhere I want, including in the middle of a street.
Mhm.
Okay. So now what we're going to have is someone with a loaded gun versus someone with a loaded Chevy
Mhm.
meeting in the middle of the street, both of them with the right to take each other's life.
Mhm.
What happens? It's the Wild West out there, and they don't realize it's the Wild West because they were just doing this to play to their base and fire people up and maybe get a few more votes next election time. They haven't thought the whole thing through, but that scenario is likely to happen. In one of these events, somebody is going to feel the need to drive through a group of protesters. Somebody in that crowd is going to have a weapon. They're not going to have to back down, and then we have a gunfight in the middle of the street, and no one's done anything wrong.
Mhm.
The fact that they haven't thought about this is just comically stupid.
And potentially they're both dead right. And maybe if
Exactly.
they're both in favor of the legislation, maybe this is how we end up thinning the herd.
Precisely.